Bon dia, new moons. I am Josie the Mustang, the Afro-Latina, Regina George of Witches, and you're aligned with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. And these are the announcements. Okay, so this is technically a bonus, but I'm really just going over a bunch of things that I don't want to cram into a different episode. Okay, so do not email the team and say that I didn't go over this and what about this, because I'm going to put it all right here. So let's jump right in, starting off with the Lua Nova Patreon. So if you are already a member of the Patreon, then you are likely on the other side of the moon tier. That one has the most members. On the other side of the moon tier, that is where you can access pretty much everything that I've ever put on Patreon. And I have decided to archive it. I will not be updating the other side of the moon tier. And it is because I wanted something that was easier and more streamlined. And it is the Crescent Circle tier. That one is $7 a month. Under the Crescent Circle tier, you're going to get access to all of the extra audios and the Lua Nova Snapchat, which I have been updating a lot lately. Okay. The other tier is the Lua Nova Library. That's where you can access affirmations, journal prompts, etc. And that one's only $2 a month. So the two available tiers are the Lua Nova Library for $2 a month and the Crescent Circle tier, which is $7 a month. Again, if you are on the other side of the moon tier, I recommend switching over to the Crescent Circle one. Not only is it cheaper, but you can get pretty much the same exact access. There are certain things that I'm just going to remove because it was just too chaotic. It was just way too chaotic. And I was like, you know what? Anybody who wants to stay here, they can stay here. But I just want everything streamlined. I like things to be streamlined and easy. So, and easy for the listener. So moving on, the next thing that we need to go over is a 2-part series called, The Moon Method. So I believe you would have already heard part 1. Part 2 will be next week. And the reason why I am even mentioning this is for the amount of emails that the team has received about the guided meditation. I appreciate that you all are excited about the guided meditation. And I can tell you that it will come out on December the 22nd. So that'll be the day after winter actually officially begins. And for those of us who celebrate winter, it's a good way to start, because this guided meditation will be one that I hope that you take with you for the next year ahead. Okay. Keep in mind that 2026 is 10 years after 2016. 2016 was a very significant year for a lot of my listeners. Everything from your Saturn returns to just major life events happening 10 years ago. In 2026, we are going to be celebrating. And to start that off, I wanted to make sure that you had a guided meditation to do that with. This guided meditation took about 20 minutes. Keep in mind that there are ads at the beginning and the end of each episode. Thank you to every single person, because I can see this, who listens to the ads, and it's a majority of you that do, because that not only pays for Lua Nova to keep going, it's free for you to do, to just listen to the ad, but it also helps my team to keep going as well. So I appreciate that I can't begin to thank you enough, because Lua Nova is a whole company. So, so I got to keep it going. So thank you for listening to the ads, but I will make sure that on the guided meditation, as always, the ads are only going to be at the beginning and the end of that episode. There will not be a collective reading during that one, or the text from spirit, or the codes of manifestation. Okay. So just to kind of give you an idea of how that guided meditation will go. If you like it, I will do another one at some point in season 4. Season 4 begins January the 5th of 2026. As you know, that will be the first anniversary of Hoshi's passing. If you're new to my show, Hoshi was my 16-year-old Pomeranian and my very best friend. And so to celebrate his life, we are going into season 4 and in 2026 with the same attitude of a Pomeranian that always got his way. One thing about Hoshi is he was fearless. He was not the type of dog that shivered when there was a thunderstorm. In fact, he would bark at them. He loved to bark at thunder. He had such a great amount of bravery for such a tiny package. He was about 5 pounds, and most of it fur. The furriest little thing you've ever seen. And when in his younger years, before he got old and couldn't do this anymore, everything made him just take off running and go in circles, high energy. And when he didn't get his way, he would bark at me. He would growl at me even sometimes, which I found hilarious. Imagine a tiny little fluff ball, whose picture is right here, by the way, just pretty much telling you what's going to happen. And I miss him every day. But Hoshi would not have wanted me to be sad forever, I promise. So season 4 will be us celebrating. I have had clients this past year, tarot clients and listeners, tell me about their own grief from someone that is going through a very difficult divorce, someone that lost their father, someone that lost their furry best friend, etc., etc. The list has gone on. And because I am a child of Santa Muerte, I think I have been able to really tap into how to help people transition to different parts of their life. When people think of death or the death card in tarot, they think of it as being very literal. But we are constantly going through different stages of transformation, just like death. And so a lot of the time when it sounds like I am being more biased about Scorpios, it is because what I've learned from Scorpios is the importance of transformation, that this is something that's their whole life. A Scorpio is always having the most difficult transformations. Their spiritual awakenings are unlike any others. And from them, I have learned how to help other people through theirs and how to heal through my own. And so season 4 will be all about what that healing looks like. When you have set those boundaries with your narcissistic parents, when you have decided to leave that relationship that is going nowhere, when you have finally put the final touches on that business plan and you actually made this business into a reality, what that looks like. And that guided meditation will be a part of that. So I hope it's something that you come back to. Feel free to go to sleep to it. I know that during most guided meditations, they cut off and they ask you to wake up, which is something that I did. But I also kept in mind that some people want to go to sleep to this. So feel free to just, if you want to put it on repeat, you can. If you just want to listen to it and then it cuts off, you can, but it does sound like something that you would sleep to, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so let me see, because I did make notes in my phone over what I need to talk about, because I think I've covered most of it already. Okay. Oh, Patreon members. Many of you, Patreon members and the rest, everybody else, the general population, you have enjoyed the Lua Nova Codes of Manifestation. And I combined all of them into one episode, but that episode is for Patreon members only. So if you are under the Crescent Circle tier, then you will get to hear all of the Lua Nova Codes of Manifestation into one episode. Feel free to listen to it over and over and over. I appreciate when you do. So for now, that's all I'm going to talk about. Patreon, there is something personal I want to talk to you about that I think you're going to want to celebrate with me. Speaking of celebration, I did not forget that we're celebrating some of my new moons. We are most certainly celebrating some of my new moons. That will be the episode that airs, the very last episode that airs for season 3, and that which is December the 29th. Remember, season 4 begins January the 5th. And the last thing I want to talk to you about before I wrap it up is Court of the New Moon. That episode, for the very first episode for Court of the New Moon, is already halfway done. I might even redo it just because I think I want to do a different spin on the way that I originally recorded it. But I want to thank the very first listener who was chosen as the very first defendant of Court of the New Moon. And his name is Ruben. Ruben has been a listener for some time now. He's always contributing via Cash App. Thank you for being a longtime listener and for loving Lua Nova, because the team, me, we appreciate you. We appreciate all of our listeners. But his case is where he allegedly manifested somebody else's girlfriend. So as Judge Josie, I will be giving a real verdict and a real sentence. So please keep that in mind, that all of these cases are real. They are submitted by you, and you can go to courtofthenewmoon.com if you want to submit your case. But keep in mind, I'm not an actual judge. This is meant to be fun. It's also meant to teach you about manifesting and maybe what not to do when it comes to spell work, because, you know, there is a case that will come up in the future that I would just briefly say is a spell that went very wrong. And because that one hasn't been recorded or anything, because I'm not even sure how to touch that one. But it was by a baby witch that did a love spell. But all right, new moons, I have rambled enough. I've given you all the updates that you should know for now. Patreon, visit me over there. I am going to be giving you a new chat. Let's have a new hotline chat just for you, because I want to talk to you about something that's very personal to me that I think you're going to enjoy celebrating. All right, new moons, Obrigada for aligning with the frequency of the Lua Nova podcast. There are brand new episodes of Lua Nova every single Monday on all major podcast platforms. You can also listen to Lua Nova at luanovapodcast.net. The podcast player is right there at the top. Go to courtofthenewmoon.com if you want to submit your case for the brand new spinoff of Lua Nova. Court of the New Moon airs twice a month on Wednesdays. So the very first episode will air January the 14th, 2026. The first episode of Lua Nova for season 4 will be January the 5th, 2026. All of the other information, such as Patreon, Venmo, Cash App, you're about to hear all about. Ciao, ciao. To book a personal tarot reading with me, submit your question for the 6th House Virgo segment, and your question just might be read right here on the show, or read the full disclaimer on spiritual consent and listener responsibility. Visit luanovapodcast.net. To submit a case for Court of the New Moon, go to courtofthenewmoon.com. If you would like to become a Patreon member, download the Patreon app or go to patreon.com/the Lua Nova podcast. Support is also appreciated, so I want to thank you for those of you who always send in donations, and you can do so via Venmo or Cash App. The Venmo username is at Lua Nova. The Cash App username is $Lua Nova podcast. Copyright 2025 Lua Nova. All rights reserved.